This past week yet again was filled with more injuries, more vultures, and more surprises.
After the shovel, or will it? Miami running around, circling, oh look out! Gronkowski didn't have the angle! Touchdown! Oh, Kenyon Drake! A miracle!
I bet you'd love to know which players to add this week. What's going on, fantasy football fans? I'm your host, Hussein the Brain, and you're watching the couch. These are my waiver wire pickups for week 15. If it's your first time on this channel, welcome. And if you love waiver wire pickups, you love watching the best draft videos and the best fantasy football live streams, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell icon so you won't miss anything. Just as a friendly reminder, of course, there are no bye weeks. It's week 15, but teams do play Thursday night and teams do play Saturday, so just keep that in mind so you don't make an oopsie poopsie. We're knee deep in the playoffs already, so if you're not in a deep league, a dual quarterback league, or some kind of specialty league, you don't really need a quarterback. I just wanted to throw a couple names out there and a couple really important stats. Josh Allen, I didn't think he'd be able to keep it up for 3 games, but this guy has been just insane, averaging over 100 rush yards per game the last 3 games. Now, these, unlike Lamar Jackson, have been more scrambles and impromptu plays. They haven't been QB run design plays, but still, man, Josh Allen has been beasting. The fantasy numbers are showing, and I like how the Bills are playing. I had them to be the absolute worst team in the league, but they're playing very well, and I do like the draft pick that they had with Josh Allen. A lot of really good rookie quarterbacks this year. And I got to talk about Nick Mullens as well, averaging nearly 300 passing yards. An okay matchup against the Seahawks. He did throw for over 400 yards last time they faced in Seattle, and now that Marquise Goodwin is healthy, I don't see why Nick Mullens won't be at least decent, maybe 250 passing yards and 2 touchdowns for week 15, something like that. Things are getting very complicated at the running back and wide receiver position if you're looking to add a player, and probably even more complicated at running back. Unfortunately, guys, there is no quality pickups this week at these 2 positions. There is quantity though, and look, Justin Jackson, he is an amazing pickup. He has to be number 1 on my list. He's very talented. Eckler is highly unlikely to play. The Chargers do play Thursday night against the Chiefs. Good matchup. The Chiefs don't have a good run defense. Chargers are a really good offense. They move the ball well. They score a lot of points. So Justin Jackson would be RB1 territory here. So I know pretty much Eckler's not playing. Now Melvin Gordon, they're playing games with us right now, the Chargers are, guys, because I'm pretty sure, I believe Melvin Gordon won't play. But Melvin Gordon said today, oh, I'm feeling good. I'm getting better. I'm feeling good. But I just don't see him playing week 15 on a short week. But who am I? Like, am I Melvin Gordon's doctor? Do I have any inside info on the situation? I do not. So Justin Jackson, he's worth an add if he's somehow still available in your league. Gus Edwards for the Ravens is still playing good, but the man never catches the ball. And then we have Kenneth Dixon, who's the number 2 running back and may kind of be the number 1 running back. It may be like RB1A versus RB1B, and in PPR leagues, Kenneth Dixon is the one to own, like hands down, and he'll probably get a lot more points because when you have Gus Edwards in the game, your offense is just a little bit more predictable, and also you got Lamar Jackson there too. So Kenneth Dixon, definitely worth the add. Great matchup going against the Bucs as well. Damian Williams only got about a quarter of the offensive snaps in week 13, and now in week 14, he got more than Spencer Ware. Spencer Ware was still productive last week, but Damian Williams, 50% of the offensive snaps. Spencer Ware, only 48% of the offensive snaps. And then the remaining 2%, I think, was Darrell Williams. Darrell Williams, not to be mixed with Damian Williams. Damian Williams is the one you want. If you're in a deep dynasty league, maybe you go get Darrell Williams, whatever. I'm not messing with that. But Damian Williams is the running back to own. Also, of course, Spencer Ware, but he's already added in just about every league. Oakland Raiders players, never to be trusted. And if you do start them week 15, which is a good matchup against the Bengals, but if you do start them, you might be kicking yourself after. And even me, I'm scared to maybe start any Raiders players, including their defense, their kicker, Derek Carr. Like, I'm super scared to be like, oh, I started a Raider player. That's what I deserve. So with caution, I'm telling you, Doug Martin has a good matchup, but with caution, if you really want to start him, that's just insane. Like I said, this week is a lot of quantity, but not a lot of quality adds at the running back position. Jalen Richard did suffer a rib injury, seems to be super minor, and he should be fine, but worth keeping tabs on that. If Jalen Richard is out for whatever reason, suffers a setback, Doug Martin will get a boost, and maybe, just maybe, I might consider starting him. Actually, no, he's a Raider. I probably won't do it. I don't know. I gotta decide. It's still too early to set my lineup and be final with it. It's just Tuesday, guys. So Elijah McGuire was actually ranked way higher, but I just got word that none of the running backs practiced this week. So Crowell didn't practice Tuesday, McGuire didn't practice Tuesday, and Cannon didn't practice Tuesday. Crowell seems to be the one that's the most banged up. And also, this matchup sucks. They're playing the Texans, but hey, they may get some run. Any starting running back that's going to get the bulk of the carries, the bulk of the workload, the most snaps is worth considering as an ad, I guess. Moving on, LaShawn McCoy, injured hamstring. He is day-to-day. Chris Ivory would be next up in line if McCoy were to miss time. Darren Sproles, he is kind of productive in PPR leagues, maybe worth consideration. And then we have the third-string running back, Trenton Cannon of the Jets. And it's about time to handcuff your picks, guys. Like, I've owned Wayne Gallman in 2 leagues because one was a 20-round draft that I owned Wayne Gallman on. It was a very weird charity league. I didn't make playoffs. It's a 48 team league, and 16 didn't make playoffs. I finished 17th. I'm not bitter though. I'm not bitter from that. Anyway, Wayne Gallman, good to own if you have a deep bench spot and you have Saquon Barkley, especially if you're like in a dynasty league. I feel like Wayne Gallman is worth handcuffing. Don't handcuff if you don't need to, though. Don't handcuff if you have only 4, 3, or 5 bench spots. No, this is if you have a deep bench, if you can, and if you own Saquon and your team's reliant on someone like Saquon. Also, some other handcuffs to look at is Rod Smith, if you're an Ezekiel Elliott owner. And the best handcuff would probably be the Rams backup, but now that Malcolm Brown is injured, I really don't know who the handcuff is. Look, Justin Davis right now is the direct backup to Todd Gurley, but John Kelly may take that spot. Look, I don't know, and Sean McVay and this Rams team is very tough to predict. That's why they're so good. Oh, and Devontae Freeman, does he still have a small little slight chance miracle to come back? I don't know. He's on IR. Maybe he comes back week 17 or 16. I don't know, just had to throw that out there for those of you that do play week 17. Maybe he is worth consideration, at least if he does come back. Moving on to wide receivers, Dante Pettis, Jimmy Garoppolo. As a Niner fan, I can just smell how this is going to look next year. I am so excited. I think Shanahan and Lynch may have knocked this draft pick out the park. As far as just, I was a bit perplexed at this draft pick. I was like, this guy can return kicks. He's quick. I was like, will he really be good? And he's been on fire the last 3 weeks. And I'm so mad. I thought I was mad that I dropped Josh Adams in Dynasty. I'm not even mad at that anymore. I'm super mad that I couldn't get Dante Pettis in my Dynasty league. I think he's going to be really good next year. He's already good this year. He should be added in a lot of leagues. If you're in a 12-team PPR league and Dante Pettis is available, you're not in a real league. Also, guys, if your league doesn't have a fantasy football championship belt or some kind of trophy, I'd say you're not in a real league as well. So make sure you check out the Fantasy Couch store. Go to fantasycouch.com/store and check out the belts, trophies, rings, t-shirts, hoodies. We got them all. Moving on, Isaiah McKenzie, There's 3 good Bills wide receivers to add, or 3 that could be fantasy relevant, including Zay Jones. But I think the one that's on the most incline, that's just has the most upside, and also the best matchup this week is Isaiah McKenzie. Slay is going to play, Darius Slay, the cornerback for the Lions. And I don't think he'll be on McKenzie. McKenzie could be playing from the slot position, should have a really good matchup, and he's been really good. I think McKenzie's one of the reasons why they got rid of Kelvin Benjamin. Of course, Foster, Zay Jones, they're better than Kelvin Benjamin, but I really like McKenzie, and like I said, I think he's going to be a sneaky start this week against the Lions. Taylor Gabriel isn't owned in enough leagues, and it's a bit disrespectful. Like, no one's high on Taylor Gabriel, then everyone's starting him, everyone's adding him early on in the season, and now Taylor Gabriel's tossed away like garbage again. I think he's got a good matchup against the Packers. Of course, the downside is you never know what this team's going to do. Is Taylor Gabriel, Allen Robinson, Trey Burton, now Adam Shaheen, Tariq Cohen. Last week, Jordan Howard got 100 yards. What's going on? We don't know, but we do know the Bears team is good. We do know they're playing Green Bay, and Nagy's kind of aggressive. Like, he's not going to just play it safe. He's going to try to score touchdowns. Cortland Sutton, what a bust last week, huh, guys? So we have Deshaun Hamilton, who might really be the number 1 wide receiver, or at least he's the guy taking Emmanuel Sanders' spot, going against the Browns. Very complicated game here. Is Sutton fully healthy? Denzel Ward has a concussion. He did not practice Tuesday. So you got to factor all this stuff in. And then on top of that, you got Case Keenum throwing the ball, who can't really be trusted. Doesn't have a lot of upside. But still, Deshaun Hamilton got a lot of ads. I even added him, I believe, in 1 or 2 leagues as a flyer, like just as my 5th wide receiver. Also, Tim Patrick starting on the Broncos. Michael Gallup, I believe, is the 2nd best receiver on, well, I guess Ezekiel Elliott's doing pretty good too, but the 2nd best wide receiver / tight end definitely on the Cowboys. Defenses are going to have to focus on Zeke, they're going to have to focus on Cooper, and they're going to even have to focus on Dak, especially Dak running the ball, now passing the ball. Like, this Cowboys team is really, really good now, and their defense is good. So I think Michael Gallup should be facing really easy matchups. The defenses shouldn't be focusing on Gallup that much. Anyway, what are you doing? You're going to pick up Gallup and start him. It's week 15. Let's go through the list really fast. Robbie Anderson has been getting a lot of targets. I believe 7 targets in each of the last 3 games. He's been doing pretty good now that he is healthy. More of a dynasty guy to own. You probably don't want to start him this week against the Texans. Then we have Kiki Cutie, who has a hamstring injury, hasn't played in several weeks, but maybe he'll be back this week. Curtis Samuel, everyone's ranking him super high. I don't really get it. I mean, Panthers have fallen off. Cam Newton's not really playing as well. And DJ Moore's the best wide receiver there. Funchess is like, I don't know how this guy fell off a cliff. Like, he was doing a lot better than I thought, catching some touchdowns, and now he's like almost fired already. I don't even know what's going on in Carolina, but I just don't have a lot of faith in Curtis Samuel this week. Now, if he's playing in the slot, that's probably good, but DJ Moore could be taking a lot of snaps from the slot too, and like I said, he is their best wide receiver going against the Saints. I don't know. I mean, I'm not starting Samuel in any league week 15, I'll tell you that. Then we have Chris Conley. Sammy Watkins is injured. Look, he's going to be out for a while. Tyreek Hill did suffer an injury. It seemed to be scary, then it's minor. So what I'm going to say, huge question mark. We don't know what's up with Tyreek Hill. Yeah, they say he's day to day and it's a minor injury. Don't believe anything. Teams don't want to let you know what's going on right now because it's crunch time. Teams want to win. They want to get home field advantage. They want to get in the playoffs. They won't be letting us know every single detail, like Melvin Gordon. Like, what's up with Melvin Gordon? Then the 3rd string wide receiver, Demarcus Robinson, same situation there. They're playing Thursday night. I believe Conley is better than Demarcus Robinson. Demarcus Robinson did ball out, and Conley didn't last game. But all the games before that, Conley seemed to have solidified that number 2 wide receiver spot right behind Tyreek Hill. And now we have Kelvin Benjamin, who might actually play Thursday night. I wouldn't start him though. Moving on, Tywan Taylor. Somebody said he's a deep threat for the Titans. Yeah, Titans you cannot trust that. You can't trust that team. That team is so up and down. And Jamison Crowder, the number 1 wide receiver for Washington, but who's throwing the ball? Probably Josh Johnson. How could you start Sanchez? How could you start Sanchez if you're Washington? Moving on to tight ends. I have a few mediocre ones, and that's about it. CJ Uzomah, good matchup going against the Raiders. There's not too many weapons to throw to for the Bengals, and Driscoll, they'll throw to Uzomah. He'll get some targets. Chris Herndon, the rookie tight end for the Jets. Good matchup, I guess, going against the Texans. They allow a lot of points to the tight end position. With Greg Olsen out, you have Ian Thomas. You can't really, you're going to really trust that guy. Jordan Reed, likely out. Probably out for the rest of the season. We have Vernon Davis. Then the Rams, best pass-catching tight end, Gerald Everett, Matt LaCosse, and Hunter Henry, who might make a return for the regular season playoffs, but unlikely to make a return for fantasy playoffs. Still, I added him in a keeper league. I'm in a keeper league where you get to keep 2 players. He's probably a top 5 keeper for me. But still, I have an IR spot. Might as well add him and see what happens. Because things change so fast. I remember last year in this keeper league, the Instagram Experts League, I had Derrick Henry. And I was so stoked that I had at least something, because I wasn't doing good in that league. I had Derrick Henry. I was so stoked. I was like, at least I got a good solid RB1. And then they go get Dion Lewis. So things change so fast, even in the offseason, even week 15, 16, 17. Things can change so fast, and we still have the draft. So that's why I add Hunter Henry. If you have a deep bench, if you have an IR spot, you might as well utilize it. When I do hack my lineup, 2 out of 3, at least more than that, probably I'd say about 75 to 80% of teams that I hack who do have an IR spot aren't even utilizing it. So I'll tell you what, guys, here's a huge tip. If you have an IR spot and you can't use it, you have a player with an out designation or an IR designation or a PUP designation, put that player in there and hoard an extra player. You can hoard a week 16 defense, another defense. You can hoard a player to block your opponent from picking him up. You can hoard anybody. Hoard another player. Every week I get the same comments. Why don't you have the Texans defense? Why don't you have the Ravens? Because they're always picked up. They're owned in 95% of leagues. But for you guys, I will put them on this week because it's such an important week. And now, of course, I'm going to get comments saying, why would you have the Texans D on your waiver list? They're already owned. You can't win. You can't win. You can never win with the YouTube comments. But that's okay. I do it for you guys. I just want you guys to get the W. That's all I care about. So my number 1 defense, especially with this news with all 3 running backs not practicing for the Jets, has got to be the Texans D. They're just on fire and they're playing against the Jets. Enough said. But Ravens D, I'd say, is even more trustworthy. I love how they played against the Chiefs. Of course, Mahomes won, the Chiefs won, I get it. But still, the way they played against the Chiefs was admirable. I knew they'd be decent, but they played even better than I thought. Going against the Bucs, I see the Bucs as not so much as a challenge as playing Mahomes and the Chiefs. Also, the Ravens are playing at home in Baltimore. Now that they got Kenneth Dixon, that should help out their defense even more. Talk about up and down teams. The Jaguars, man, that team is just horrible right now. It's just the drama going on there. It's kind of a circus. But going against Washington, this could be a juicy matchup. I don't know if they're going to start Josh Johnson or Mark Sanchez. Okay, they'll probably start Josh Johnson, because who the heck would want to start Mark Sanchez? Either way, Jaguars D has a lot of upside. Also, they're playing in a home game. Like, come on, they're playing in Jacksonville. This should be a slam dunk for the Jags, but I don't think the Jags could even make a layup at this point. Vikings D going against the Dolphins. Look, I know the Vikings have fallen off the last couple games, but this is a home game. Their defense has still been playing well. The upside is there. Defenses are risky as is. They're playing at home, favored to win by 7. You have to like the Vikings D this week. And what's kind of cool about it, like the Jags and Vikings D is going to be available in some leagues. The Bills going against the Lions. Make sure you keep tabs on players like Kerryon Johnson, Bruce Ellington. Kerryon Johnson, I don't know, 50-50 chance he'll play. Maybe they won't risk it. Bruce Ellington looks like he'll be out. The Lions are just so decimated. They have no receivers. Everyone's just injured on the line. So the Bills D could be a really good sneaky start this week. Also, Seahawks going against the Niners. Broncos D going against the Browns. Look, the Browns have a good chance to win this game, but could be a low-scoring game. And Bradley Chubb and Von Miller, hands down, I'd say, are the best pass-rushing duo in the NFL right now. That's one heck of a great draft pick by the Broncos. They had some really good draft picks. They should be good next year. And Browns going against the Broncos in that low-scoring game. Super sneaky start, guys. Falcons defense, who probably hasn't even been a top 30 defense this year, they've been horrible, have the sweetest matchup going against the Cardinals. Nobody's healthy on the Cardinals. The Cardinals offense is complete trash. So this could be a sneaky start. I would start them. That's right, I would. If it's a deep league, I'd start them in the playoffs. I'd take that risk. I'm crazy like that. I'm bold. Washington defense going against the Jaguars. Jaguars suck, but Washington's so injured on the offensive side of the ball that it's going to affect their defense. They don't really have a quarterback. And Lions D going against the Bills. Look, Lions D did good last week. I had them in 1 or 2 DFS lineups, and I was pretty happy that they came through. Like, I wasn't expecting them to do that well. But don't trust the Lions D. Like, look, I like them, but they're not to be trusted. The floor is really, really low. We have some more for you guys. Odell Beckham's getting healthy. I expect him to play. So the Titans D, probably not a good start. Zero trust there. And look, this is super, super deep leagues, super desperate situations, which you're likely not in because you're in the playoffs. But still, I decided to put that there. If Beckham is out, maybe you take a flyer on the Titans D if you're in a 20-team league. Also, Giants going against the Titans. Just today announced Jonnu Smith's on IR. Their offensive tackle, Conklin, is on IR. It's not looking good for the Titans. Giants D did play well last week, but that was against Mark Sanchez, mostly. Bengals D going against the Raiders. You cannot trust the Bengals at all. Dolphins D going against the Vikings with a little bit of turmoil they've been having. Vikings can still make the playoffs? How is that possible? How is that possible? I did the same thing with kickers as I did for defenses. I just ranked all of them. All my top kickers. I think we got like the top 20. Greg Zuerlein, my number 1 kicker going against the Eagles. And I'll put it like this. Like around, I think my top 5 is really solid. And then, yeah, so that's my tier 1 is Greg Zuerlein, Tucker, Lutz, Gostkowski, and Fairbairn. That's my tier 1 kickers. I love all 5 of those kickers for week 15. Then tier 2 would probably have to be Harrison Butker. Chiefs offense is always on fire. They are playing Thursday night though. It is a little bit windy, so the weather conditions may not be ideal. And I don't know. Like he's tough to predict. I'll put it like that. But he's a talented kicker. Has a decent floor, and the upside, I don't know where the upside is. Could be high, could be low. It's really tough to predict these kickers. That's why I have him tier 1. And then tier 3 would be Dan Bailey, Brett Maher, and Michael Badgley, something like that. And then, we got Aldrick Rosas and Matt Bryant. I was ranking Matt Bryant higher, but he didn't have a good week. Week 14, which is very unlike him. He used to be like the best kicker in the league, or most trustworthy. He's getting up there in age, and he did appear on the injury report last week with a back injury. Also, he did miss time this year, so that's just a huge question mark. I don't know if I want to start him this week. That's why I have guys like Badgley and Rosas ranked ahead of him. And in deep leagues, we have Robbie Gould, Janikowski, Ryan Suckup, Cody Parkey, Adam Vinatieri, Randy Bullock, Matt Prater, Brandon McManus, and Daniel Carlson, the Raiders kicker. He's actually been extremely accurate now that he's on the Raiders. That's what happened. He got fired, picked up, and now he's actually a pretty good kicker. Probably keep him long term if you're the Raiders. Why not? He's young, he's a rookie, and has a great matchup. Probably the Raiders player that I would trust the most would be Daniel Carlson. Within 1 hour of uploading this video, I will be removing this from the merch store, guys. So make sure you guys check it out. Go cop a t-shirt or a hoodie. I'm getting rid of all the Fabs designs. That's fantasycouch.com/store. Order today to get it before Christmas. Make sure you hit this white couch icon to subscribe to this YouTube channel, and hit the orange couch icon to subscribe to the Fantasy Couch podcast channel. Yes, we have a second YouTube channel. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Dislike if you want to see me lose in the playoffs, and I'll see you on the next video/live stream. Good luck.